In India's ancient spiritual traditions, as well as the Hindu religion, in every sacred ceremony and ritual, Lord Ganesh, the elephant-headed son of Mother Divine and Lord Shiva, is always evoked first among the gods. This year, on September 5th, this ancient modern celebration of Lord Ganesh makes it a perfect time for us to reveal his true power and deeper purpose, and how to connect directly to them both so that you can channel tremendous healing energy into your life. Welcome to Shivaloka TV. So you'd think if there was a controversy surrounding the birth of Lord Ganesh, it would have to do with his head and his trunk and his ears. But it actually starts way before that. In fact, the divine remover of obstacles started out as an obstacle himself. As the story goes, Shiva left Parvati, his consort wife, alone one day. At some point, she decided to take a bath, and to ensure her privacy, she miraculously manifested a child, Ganesh, all on her own, to guard the front door. As karma and a great story would have it, while Parvati was in the bath, Shiva came home, only to be confronted by a complete stranger barring his way. In the midst of the confusion, heated words were exchanged between the two great gods. What do you mean I can't come into my house? What do you mean your house? This is my mom's house. What do you mean your mom? Then, without further ado, Shiva lopped off Ganesh's head. Of course, this roused Mother Divine from her bath, and Parvati went outside to see what the commotion was. And you can imagine she was not pleased. Of course, immediately she ordered her husband, Lord, to fix it. Lord Shiva sent his assistants out with instructions to bring back the head of the first creature they found sleeping with the top of its head pointing in an inauspicious direction, which is spiritually, physiologically, and psychologically a very bad thing. The head in the inauspicious direction part I'm talking about. And as it happened, the first creature either of them found was an elephant. So back comes the head, and in Mother Divine's presence, Shiva fixes it, making her son whole again. Now, because Ganesh was Parvati's son, and Parvati is Shiva's wife, and Shiva was the cause of Ganesh's death, and yet, at the same time, his rebirth, Lord Ganesh became the firstborn son of Shiva and Parvati, of Shiva and Shakti. So, with all of this, why is Ganesh considered the remover of obstacles? Actually, he's not. It's his power that accomplishes that. Ganesh is actually the Lord of obstacles, the Lord of all obstacles. It's getting him on your side, helping you, that removes the obstacles in your path. His part in all of the stories connected to him shows him removing or creating obstacles. He is the master of obstacles, and his mastery is over them. Ganesh has the power to actually command obstacles. And whenever you see a depiction of Ganesh, one of the things you'll find there near him is a mouse or a rat. That's his mount, his ride. I know, it sounds silly. But what is the inner, yet staring you right in the face secret hint there? Rats can get in and out of any place. There are few to no obstacles in the way of them reaching what they're after. That's clearly an aspect, a channel of Ganesh's energy too. Like so many things in life, even obstacles come and go. Like that, the celebration of Ganesh Chaturti has had that same characteristic in its history as well. The earliest recorded celebration happened over 400 years ago. Even so, the story goes back millennium before that. And while the auspicious timing of the celebration comes every year, there have been many, many breaks in that tradition. Sometimes for decades, sometimes for more than a century. The latest rebirth of the celebration occurred in India during the fight for its independence from the British. At that time, the British themselves were the obstacle. While they banned all political gatherings, they were less strict about certain religious ones. And basically, Ganesh Chaturti was, or is, a walking procession. They carry a murti made out of clay, or a statue made out of clay, down to the river. They walk through the town down to the river. And while the statue of Ganesh is being carried, the devotees are chanting. On the surface, it's a beautiful story about Ganesh taking or receiving a ritual bath. But at that time, during the fight for independence, it was an opportunity to pass instructions regarding the revolution. In that way, Ganesh removed the British as an obstacle to the Indians, and at the same time became an unknown but real obstacle for the British interlopers. So in the celebration, in the ritual, what happens is this. A statue of Ganesh is created out of clay, traditionally. On the final day of what is a 10-day celebration, that statue is carried down to the river and submerged, where it dissolves into the water. All the chants are devotional songs filled with mantras, which are directed towards that natural object, the statue. And those mantras, charged and directed by the open and devoted hearts of the people, charge the statue with Shakti, with the divine power of Ganesh. The mechanics of this are sort of the same as the principle behind putting iron filings near a magnet. The magnet radiates energy, and that energy reaches out and pulls the filing to it, and then holds them close, right up against it, making them part of it in a way. Like that, the mantras get charged to this natural object. And then after 10 days of chanting and the ritual walk and the bath, the Ganesh Shakti, which was charged or magnetized to the clay statue, dissolves into the water. Many commentaries of this process and many commentaries of the value of this ceremony say that there are many, many layers of meanings to this, of course, to the statue dissolving. And they come in some categories, and these are the most common, that they show that we work hard, we build something, but in the material world, everything is only temporary. Beauty, even power, it's only temporary. While Ganesh and his power are real, we can't control them. They will come and go as they please. They are of nature and therefore greater than us, and so they will dissolve back into nature. And of course, all of that is interesting and beautiful and sad and wonderful, but it's not the deeper truth. Funnily enough, or ironically to some, true spirituality, if it is anything at all, it's practical. If all of this, if this material world is an expression, a manifestation of the divine, in and of the divine, even while appearing not to be so, then even on the grossest level, the divine is present and knowable. It means there are inner mechanisms involved, deep mechanisms, which also influence the surface at the gross, physical, natural, material plane of existence. This celebration is about revealing some of those fundamental, deeper mechanisms and using them in the natural world. They are related to both natural and spiritual laws, to their connection and to their influences. So, to understand this, let's consider the river, which is the water element. In an earlier video, Swati Ma mentioned that according to India's spiritual traditions, everything is made up of the 5 elements, including us. These are earth, fire, space, which in our tradition is translated as sky, water, and air. Earth, fire, sky, water, and air. Each element has its own character, its own expressions, its own influences, and they all work together to make up everything that exists in the material world. In the midst of all of this, the nature and power of the water element plays a huge part in our lives. For example, approximately 80% of our planet is covered in water. Approximately 80% of our body is made up of water. If the material world as we know it is also a veil of Maya, the cosmic illusion, then approximately 80% of the illusion energy runs through the water element. It flows through that. So back to the celebration. Why dissolve Ganesh in that? Because a veil is an obstacle, and Maya is a veil of illusion, which means it is the source of ignorance. It allows for it, it supports it, it even nurtures it and tests it. And Ganesh has the power to influence and help remove that obstacle completely. So when the statue dissolves into the water absorbs its divine energy, and the water, the illusion, is changed. It becomes less of an obstacle. Once Ganesh goes into the water, it's no longer about him, it's about what he's giving us. Through our chanting, through our devotion, our commitment, we've mingled our Shakti with his. And in that way, we gained a kind of command over him. Not control, like against his will, but a commanding, which means with his permission, with his appreciation and acceptance. What he gives in return is called prasad, a divine blessing. What could be a greater blessing than removing the veil of ignorance, which covers our perception of reality? Om Suklam Baradaram Vishnum Sashivanam Chatur Bhujam Prasannavadanam Jyaye Sarva Vigno Pashantaye. Om Suklam Baradaram Vishnum Sashivanam Chatur Bhujam Prasannavadanam Jyaye Sarva Vigno Pashantaye. Om Suklam Baradaram Vishnum Sashivanam Chatur Bhujam Prasannavadanam Jyaye Sarva Vigno Pashantaye. This is a profoundly deep and ancient mantra, but I also believe it's pretty well known, actually. It's used in preparation to do everything of importance to you. A project, a trip, an adventure, entering a new home or workplace, starting a new sadhana, a new spiritual practice, the commencement of anything, really. It is traditionally chanted out loud or silently, like in meditation, along with the Gayatri and Guru mantras in that order. Just remember to do it with an open heart. Have that be your intention, to be open to receive all that is possible, right then, right there, whatever the divine wishes to give. Make that your deal with the divine. Ganesh absolutely loves that. He's like his father in that way, a kind of Bola Shankara, a divine gift giver. It's like Shiva that way. So, happy Ganesh Chaturti, and thank you for joining us.